At the time of recording this video, I'm 30 years old. If I could go back and talk to my 20-year-old self, this is some advice that I would give him. 1. Lead with your heart, but build with your mind. Albert Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge because knowledge is limited. If we spend all our time looking for what to do with our lives outside and not looking within, we'll never truly find what's meant for us and what fulfills us the most. 2nd, you develop your purpose. You don't find it. I spent so much of my 20s reading articles about how to discover my purpose, looking out at other people's purposes and then trying to replicate that. But little did I realize that I needed to go within and just start doing what I loved in service, and that would turn into my purpose. 3, there's a time for everything in your life, so don't be late. Life is meant to be lived in stages, and there's a time for everything. So many people I talk to put off traveling, for instance, for when they have more money or whatever it is. But the reality is that the way you want to travel when you're 20 years old or 25 is different than how you want to travel when you're 30 or 40. Take advantage of the energy and the adventurousness that you have when you're younger and create those memories that will last your whole life. 5, what's meant for you will flow more effortlessly. I had a friend who applied to medical school 5 times and never got in. What she didn't understand, and what I found out later, was her true desire in life was to become a fashion designer. She didn't understand that all of those failures were actually opportunities for her to go and pursue what was truly aligned with her. Pay attention to when it feels like something's being blocked and stopped too much, because it's sometimes a sign that you need to shift to something that's more aligned with you. 6, stop trying to attract people and become more attractive yourself, and then people will come. We spend so much time throughout our 20s trying to please others or the opposite sex or whatever it is, but all that gives off subconsciously is that you're needy and that you need someone else. As soon as you really love and put the attention back on yourself and love your life so much, that's when people will come to you. 7, the people who doubt you are actually the people who don't believe in themselves. You will never hear someone more successful than you make fun of you for starting a business. You will never hear of a content creator make fun of you for posting a video. It's always the people who have fears themselves about putting themselves out there that will be the ones that try to drag you down. Don't let them. Number 8, your identity is not set in stone. Reinvent yourself as much as you like. If you want to fast track to getting old really quickly, start saying things like, oh, I never do that, or oh, I don't do hikes like that. As soon as you start having that fixed mindset, that's when all of your growth stops. Always understand that at any stage of your life, you can reinvent yourself to become someone completely new. Number 9, talk to old people and your grandparents. Every month, I set myself a reminder to watch videos about regrets that old people have about their life. This is helpful because it helps reprioritize what really matters. Old people always say they regret that they didn't take risks and that they worked too hard and that they didn't prioritize relationships enough. Number 10, learning to say no is your superpower. When you say no to something, what you're doing is you're creating space for things to say yes to that are really aligned with you. 11, your biggest obstacle is thinking you need to figure it all out before you start. Did you know that YouTube actually started as a dating site? There are so many examples of huge companies and success stories that started as something completely different. My 20s was the exact same, and so will yours. Every time you just take a step, you learn skills and have experiences that will help you later on. You don't know how they'll come together. 12, your parents were just winging it. And the truth is, most people don't know what they're doing. You know when you're a kid and you find out that your parents all of a sudden don't have the answer to every question that you have? Your whole world is shattered. The truth is that's similar for professionals in the world as well. The sooner you learn to trust your own internal knowledge and intuition, the sooner you'll be able to harness that power to create your ideal life. 13, If you're depressed, you're probably ruminating or thinking about things that you regret from the past. And if you're anxious, you're probably stressed or thinking about things in the future. The way to overcome both of them is to get into the present moment. You can do this through breath work, meditation, mindfulness, and body awareness as well. 14, depression can actually turn out to be one of your greatest gifts that you receive. I spent a lot of my early 20s in particular and mid 20s really depressed. But what happens is a lot of that attention goes inward and you can learn a lot about yourself psychologically, what you like, what you don't like. And actually on the other side of this, a lot of the time is your greatest happiness. Number 15, the friends you make at 19 might not be the people that you actually vibe with by the time you're 29. And that's okay. 16, fear is actually your compass. Whatever you're afraid of is the direction that you should go in order to find and get closer to your purpose. 17, don't overplan and miss your entire life. Be spontaneous. John Lennon said that life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. And I noticed this especially when I traveled to over 40 countries in my 20s. When you make too many plans on your vacation, you end up missing the best part of travel, which is all the spontaneous moments that you end up happening that were unexpected. And the reason they were so good is precisely because you never could have anticipated them. Number 18, no amount of external achievement that you have in your life will ever be enough. Although it feels like when you're young that the goal of life is to accumulate money and status and things like that, what you realize throughout your 20s, your 30s, and sometimes your 40s is it's actually just the process of understanding more and more who you are as a person and how unique you are that is the purpose of life. For me, it took getting all the way to the University of Cambridge in a master's program that was highly prestigious to realize that I wasn't happy. For so long, I had just wanted to start a YouTube channel or grow a following online talking about my passion, and here I was at a prestigious institution not doing that. Number 19, people care about you far less than you realize. They're too focused caring about their own life. Number 20, apologizing first doesn't mean that you've lost. It actually means that you're lighter. So many times we hold on to things that make us upset or grudges because we think that that person doesn't deserve forgiveness. But what ends up happening is we have to carry the load of that resentment and annoyance towards that person for our whole life. 21, success will feel empty unless you're chasing your own dreams. Number 22, if you feel drained after spending time with someone or at a certain event, avoid that person or event in the future. The truth is, our body knows what's good for us. So if you want to change your life, do this exercise. For the next week, pay attention to how you feel in your energy after doing different things throughout your day and talking to different people. At the end of the week, whatever you felt good after, start putting into your life more, and whatever you felt drained after doing or a person you talked to, eliminate it. Number 23, if you're uncomfortable, it's likely just a sign that you're growing. Number 24, your biggest cure to depression will be good sleep, food, and lots of movement. Try those things and getting them right before you try therapy or anything else. Number 25, your life and external world is just a mirror of your internal feelings. So if you're worrying all the time, you're going to continue to create a life where there's things to worry about. The quickest way to change your life is to change your internal state by focusing on gratitude in the morning or in the evening as well. Number 25, people treat you how you let them. For instance, if you have a friend that always ignores you or replies to texts late or cancels last minute, but you never say anything, they'll actually end up internalizing that that's okay. So next time they do that, put the boundary and explain that you're a little bit frustrated, and in the future, they either won't do it or you'll find friends that wouldn't do that to you in the first place. Number 26, Your emotions are your teacher. Most people just suppress or ignore their emotions. But for instance, anger shows you where your boundaries have been overstepped. Shame shows you where you still have insecurities that you need to overcome. And sadness shows you what you really care about and you really love. Comment below some other emotions and I'll explain what they mean for you. Number 27, your new life will cost you your old life. A lot of the time, to level up in your life and get to the next stage that you want, it's not about adding more things, but it's actually about cutting away the old versions of yourself, the old habits and thoughts, and maybe even friends that no longer serve you. Once you get rid of these types of old mindsets, you create space for these new versions of yourself to come in. Number 28, therapy is not just for broken people. I did an 8-month stint of psychotherapy a few years back. This taught me a lot more to be empathetic towards myself. And because of that, I increased my capacity to be loving towards other people. We can only give other people what we're able to give ourselves. So if you explore self-love in therapy, it'll pay dividends the rest of your life. Number 29, do the hardest tasks in the morning. I used to just create a to-do list and then start checking off the easiest ones as soon as I got up, because that felt really good. But come time for the really hard tasks, I wouldn't have any energy left to do them. On top of that, I'd be switching tasks so much throughout the day that would use a lot of energy. Focus on one big task as soon as you get up. Number 30, avoid gossiping negatively about other people. There's something called third person attribution, where if you say something about a third person negatively that's not there, the person you're talking to will attribute those negative things to you. So be careful when you talk negatively.